You know, when you think about the plant kingdom, it's so easy to get bogged down in all those complicated Latin names and classifications. But what if we looked at it a different way? What if we saw it as this epic story of conquest? Seriously, it's a 500 million year saga of life fighting its way out of the water to completely dominate every corner of our planet. And it all starts with one really simple question. It really all comes down to this. How in the world did life make that incredible leap from the oceans to the land? The answer is this amazing step-by-step evolution of plants. It's a journey of incredible innovation and adaptation that literally shaped the world that we all live in today.
Okay, so to follow this journey, we're going to need a map. And for biologists, that map is classification. Now, this isn't just about putting things into boring boxes, it's about understanding the family tree of life and tracing the relationships that tell this incredible evolutionary story. And you know, our map making has evolved just as much as the plants themselves. Back in the day, scientists used what we call artificial systems. They just group plants by simple looks, like, say, the color of a flower. But today we use phylogenetic systems. These look at genetics, at common ancestors, to build a true evolutionary family tree. It shows us the real story of how all these groups are connected. So, this epic story, it unfolds in 5 major acts. These are the 5 main groups of plants that we recognize today. We're going to journey through them one by one, starting with the simplest forms in the water, all the way to the complex flowering plants that you see everywhere. All right, Act 1. Our story begins, as all life on Earth did, in the water. And the first characters on our stage are the algae. They are the foundation, the original pioneers upon which the entire plant kingdom is built.
So what exactly are algae? Well, the key words here are simple and thalloid. That just means their bodies aren't really separated into true roots or stems or leaves. They're autotrophic, which means they make their own food using chlorophyll, and almost all of them live in water. Think of them as the simple but incredibly powerful engine of aquatic ecosystems.
And algae isn't just one thing. It's this hugely diverse group. I mean, just look at the differences here in their pigments and how they store food. You've got the green algae, which are the likely ancestors of all land plants, the brown algae, which includes those giant, amazing kelp forests, and then the red algae, which can live way down in deep ocean waters where almost no light can get to. Now, before we move on, let this sink in. 50%. Algae perform at least half of all the carbon dioxide fixation on Earth. That's a fancy way of saying they produce half the oxygen. So literally, every other breath you take, you can thank algae for. Their impact on our planet is just massive. Okay, so from the water, life is about to make its most audacious move yet, the invasion of land. And the first plants to try it were the bryophytes, which you probably know as mosses and their relatives. This quote right here is the perfect analogy for them. Bryophytes are the amphibians of the plant world. Just like a frog, they have 1 foot on land and 1 foot that's still stuck in the water. They can live in the soil, sure, but they absolutely need water for their sperm to swim through to fertilize an egg. That dependence is their defining feature, and it's also their biggest limitation. But make no mistake, they were a huge leap forward. Unlike the simple body of an alga, a bryophyte has more structure. It's got parts that look and act like roots, stems, and leaves, even if they aren't the true versions just yet. This was a critical first step in developing a body plan that could actually work on land. And don't ever underestimate these little guys. They are ecological powerhouses. Mosses are often the very first things to grow on bare rock. They slowly break it down and create the first layer of soil, which then allows bigger, more complex plants to move in. They are true world builders. So plants are on land, but they're still crawling close to the ground, totally tied to that water. The next act in our story is about breaking free and reaching for the sky. So let's welcome the pteridophytes, the ferns and their relatives. And the crucial innovation that made it all happen was vascular tissue. This was the game changer. I mean, this was the evolutionary equivalent of plants developing a skeleton and a circulatory system, all in one. It fundamentally changed what a plant could be. So what are vascular tissues? Well, think of them as a plant's plumbing system. You've got xylem, which transports water up from the ground, and phloem, which transports sugars down from the leaves. This system not only feeds the plant, but it provides the rigid support it needs to grow tall, up and away from all the competition on the forest floor. This is how plants got big. But it wasn't just about getting taller. A new reproductive strategy also started to show up.
See, while a lot of ferns just produce one type of spore, some, like this one called Selaginella, evolved something called heterospory. That means they make two different types, a small male spore and a large female spore. And that specialization, well, that was a hint of something much, much bigger to come.
And here's the cliffhanger for this act. This new development, this idea of having a large protected female gamete, is the direct evolutionary precursor to the seed. This was the final piece of the puzzle that plants needed to completely sever their ties to water for reproduction. The stage was set for a revolution.
Welcome to the revolution. Seriously, the invention of the seed was like giving plants a little spaceship, a protective, nutrient-packed vessel for their embryos that let them travel and colonize even the harshest, driest environments on the planet. This is the age of the gymnosperms. And you know, the name says it all. In Greek, gymnos means naked, and sperma means seed. So these are the naked seed plants. Just think of a pine cone. The seeds are sitting right there on the scales, totally exposed to the world. And that's the key feature that separates them from the next and final group. And with the seed came this whole suite of amazing adaptations for surviving on dry land. You got tough, needle-like leaves, a waxy coating to lock in moisture, and breathing pores that are sunken into the leaf to reduce water loss. Plus, and this is a big one, they harness the wind for pollination. No more needing water for reproduction. Total freedom. We've reached the final act, or maybe it's more like the epilogue of our story. This is the group that represents over 80% of all known living green plants today. They are the undisputed rulers of the plant kingdom, the angiosperms, or as you know them, the flowering plants.
So what was their secret weapon? What made them so successful? Well, if gymnosperms had naked seeds, angiosperms protected theirs. They developed two incredible innovations: the flower, which attracts animal pollinators for super efficient reproduction, and the fruit, which is a vessel that protects the seed and then uses animals to carry it far and wide. Absolutely brilliant.
And so there we have it. We've seen the entire journey, from algae mastering the water to the bryophytes taking those first brave steps onto land. Then the pteridophytes reached for the sky with their vascular tissue, the gymnosperms achieved true freedom with the seed, and finally, the angiosperms achieved total global domination with the flower. Each step built perfectly on the one before it. It's just an incredible story of adaptation and innovation that completely transformed our planet. And it leaves us with one last thought to ponder. After conquering water, land, and air, after evolving from single cells into the complex forms that feed us and shelter us, what will be the next great evolutionary leap for the plant kingdom?